On our Think Right podcast today, in addition to our ever-radiant spiritual guide, Sister Shivani, we have with us a young spiritual seeker, come master, come guide, Gen Alpha, our first female Gen Alpha on the Think Right podcast, Paridhi Mangalampalli. Welcome, Paridhi. You are one of those celebrated young kids at the age of 10 who is being able to give so much value and knowledge to the world. So how you have come here, and this is a podcast that we are really excited to have you on. Tell us a little bit about how you have become what you have.
So actually, I started reading the Indian scriptures ever since I was like 3. Not like original scriptures, but I started reading the kids' versions of them all. And of course, there used to be a few myths here and there. Like, for example, Abhimanyu didn't learn the entire Chakravyuh thing in his womb. He learned it from Arjun later on in his life. So I learned all of this later as I grew reading and learning from other people. Then, actually, prior to that, when I was 2, I used to watch cartoons and like Little Krishna and these Ramayana cartoons and everything. So even that was the thing that got me hooked on. Then by the age of 3.5 or 4, I started learning Bharatanatyam from my mom. So like, I would like to say something that might sound ridiculous, but I feel it's really like very relevant. So it's like, even if I'm not a storyteller, I'm still a storyteller. How? Because even if I wasn't speaking here, I'm still a dancer. And I'm still telling stories through my performances. So, I do all of this now. It's all thanks to my parents, to God, and all the people who have been guiding me. Like, for example, the person who took my first ever podcast, Sid Chachu, then my managers like Kavya Didi and Savi Chachu, then my parents, of course, then Aminga Natraji and Gauranga Darshan Das Prabhuji, and now BK Shivani ma'am. So all of these people, even Devi Chitralekha ji, so all these people are helping me and guiding me through my journey.
So do you feel that, you said you remember something from age 2. Do you remember it or you're thinking, you feel it?
My parents tell me everything that has been happening. Like, for example, I remember the exact age, like exact time and exact day and exact date of my birth. And because my parents told me, and now I have locked it in my head for the rest of my life.
So like that, what your parents have told have become. But along the way, you have learned many things.
Yes.
So what is that biggest thing or the most important thing to you that you have learned?
That even in scriptures, there can be things that like are not real. Like, for example, like, I'm not saying that scriptures never happened, they did, but there can be myths around, and to understand that you need to be alert. That's one thing that I learned from Amiga Natraji.
Alert?
Yes.
What is that alert? How do you know you're alert and you're not alert?
Because this is really awkward and embarrassing for me to say, but when I was last year, I had my first podcast. It was on Ramayana with Laksh and Sid Chachu. At that time, I had not yet fully read or understood the original Ramayana. I had read another book, which was actually a book from the perspective of Devi Sita. So because of that, I had read it and I became little inclined towards Ma Sita only. And I had little bit of negativity towards Lord Ram, ki how could you banish Ma Sita like that. So like, I figured out there were many things in that book which weren't actually correct. And then, like we say na ki Draupadi during the time of her Cheer Haran had made a vow कि मैं अपने केश खुले रखूंगी until it's bathed in Dushasan's blood. I think we have all heard that. Actually, that's not true. Nothing ever happened like that in the Mahabharat. And all these myths were broken. I'm not even lying. I had so many myths in my head thinking it was true. And Amika Natraji, her books and a podcast with her had happened. So this had happened, and I was like, oh my god, so many of these things are myths. And then she told me that whenever you're reading, read the introduction of the book first to know whether this is fiction or non-fiction. So I do that now.
So I hope many people your age are watching this podcast to know what they should be doing to become like you at age 10. So what makes someone like this so special at this particular age?
See, it's very visible from her journey. She's carrying it from a past life. It's innate. It's come natural for her from the age of 2. So it's not being taught. Logically, you're learning, but innately to like something, innately to get inclined towards something, that was not taught. That is just coming to her. And then now it comes to her in a very natural manner. So again, to remember, we're a soul on a journey. So we're looking at her as 10-year-old body. The body is 10 years old. The soul is very, very old. And all of us are old souls. Everyone's been on a journey. So in a previous lifetime, obviously this has been her complete study, her wisdom, her understanding, and also probably she went into the world to share with the world about it. And that's why it comes very natural to her again at this young age. Many children could be studying it. Many children would be studying or would be watching Sri Krishna's cartoon or could be studying, but not everybody is coming out to share to the world at this age. So both of these are coming to her most probably as a past life sanskar. And maybe the mother was also reading it and studying it when she was in the womb. So it will become a part of her garab sanskar also. And so at the age of 2, it's just when you have a TV in front of you, that's coming very natural to you. And now she does it effortlessly. So she's not doing effort, it's effortlessly. Like I've done it many times before. I'm not doing this like this for this first time. Y'all are seeing me as a kid because y'all are looking at the dress I'm wearing. I am that same one who's done it like 1 million times before. Now another time. The dress has changed. So the body has changed. So it's effortless and natural for her.
So it's the perception, right? Like people will look at somebody at a particular age and we build biases in our minds. The key is to look at each person as a pure soul. And the moment you're able to do that, judgment, everything goes away because you're not really judging people. But then in a practical day-to-day world, like if someone like her is there and you say, I want to take care of you, I want to make sure, everything is there, it comes very natural.
But that is still going to happen.
That will still happen.
That is still going to happen. But this wisdom, and this inclination to pursue it, to understand it more, to go into the nitty-gritties, to understand the depth behind that wisdom and to have that intention to share what I'm learning with the world. This is definitely coming from a past life and it's been nurtured in the present life. Every child comes with something from a past life. But whether the present parent and the present environment nurtures it is different for different destinies. So past life is there. Garab sanskar is there in her case, and then present life she got that same nurturing, so it becomes a difference. So we say why every child can't do it, because every soul is on a different journey, but everyone doesn't necessarily get the same. If you look at actors, sports people, why most of their children get inclined towards the same profession also? Because probably they got it from a womb sanskar, the garab sanskar. While the soul was in the garab, that was all that was happening around them. And if it's a woman actor, she was probably acting through those 9 months or 6 months or whatever. So the soul just absorbs all that. And then you will see that 2-year-old child, 3-year-old child, effortless, very natural, as if I've done all this before.